Working. And all right. Okay. So, hello everybody, and welcome back to another live stream. So, today is going to be the last live stream I'm going to be doing for a while. And yeah, so for those who don't know what this live stream is, this is Dislyte's 4-year anniversary today. Well, for me, that is. And to celebrate, I will be doing a reaction live stream to some of the original version previews that were released in the past. And I'll be starting with... I didn't even get this set up because I was too busy fiddling around with a few other things. Let's see. Playlist there. There. No. That's not the one. The video that started playing was the version preview for the Lone Star, but we've already seen that one before. So where is it? Here we go. Okay.
Okay. I will also have the sound turned off for this one, or at least for the. Actually, no. I think this one has voices. All right. I'm going to turn this on. We're going to turn it halfway. Or here's what I do. Maybe I turn this down to like there. Maybe. We'll see how this goes. But what's going to happen is we're going to do Blazing Nights, and then we're going to do probably two. We're going to do. Well, figure this out, but anyway. So let's go ahead and start off the. That's not where I wanted to go. Okay. So, oh wait, last thing before I do start this one. Once we get through all the version previews, I did buy a cake again. Which I should probably say this now. Anytime we do one of these live streams for Dislyte, at the end of the live stream, once we've gone through all the version previews, I will go ahead and grab the cake I bought yesterday, and we'll go from there. So anyway, let's start things off with Blazing Night Part 1. Hang on. No, I'll keep the desktop audio off for this one. Okay. So we'll do that. Alright. Okay. Here we go. I will have the audio, so I'll know if this had voice acting in it. Let's see. Jeez! Okay. I have a headset up too loud. That's why I just freaked out all of a sudden. Alright, let's see. Alright, how's that? Nope, it's the desktop. Hold on. Not desktop, the video audio. Okay. Did I fix it? How is it so... Okay. I know this should not be as loud, but I didn't realize it was going to be this loud. Hang on. Okay, fixed it. There. Alright, we've now got that sorted out. Let us actually start this reaction live stream with part 1 of Blazing Night. And we're starting it for real this time. Oh wait, hang on. Were there? Oh yeah, there were subtitles. I forgot. Why is it turned off? I don't know. Yep. a hero. Anyway, what we're going to be doing is a bit of a recap on each of the espers that appear in these versions. And we're going to start off with Fatima, who was Gilgamesh, which, if I remember correctly, I did hear his name, the name Gilgamesh before, which was from, was it Final Fantasy? I think it was that one. Like, I heard the name Gilgamesh before, it's like a... Wait, no, there was a story about Gilgamesh, but I can't remember it. I think. I don't remember, but yeah, anyway. So, yeah, Fatima was the first Espa of that one. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Yep, and then we have... this. So, here we have the original story events gimmick, which was always the full... excuse me. I had lunch a few minutes ago, so... Anyways, so how these originally worked was they were a story, and I believe Memory Rift started around this time. I cannot remember the exact date of when they started doing Memory Rifts, but it was story, Memory Rift, and these trials. Now, the trials were interesting at the time, but I was still not the biggest fan of them because the reason is pretty simple. They had a name card at the requirement of EX. And that's why I wasn't the biggest fan of them, because of that reason. Uh, what's worse is that this one, if I remember correctly, there was still a bug in the game which caused the game to crash on certain devices. And I believe I was able to get an attempt off with this one. I don't remember, but yeah, that's basically it. So anyway, we'll keep going. Yeah, this was what it was. It was that. Okay. Oh. And that was... Hold on. Bring it back for a sec. I didn't even look at that. So, what was this one? Um... Oh, wait a sec. I think I know what this one was. It was the. Right, this was one. Okay. Now I remember what it was. So, it was you do certain tasks in this mode, and then after you get a certain amount of points, you can draw a random Esper. That was also a Shimmer Esper. I think we've seen these in his summoning videos, that I've done. And I'm gonna say this, still to this day, I still haven't got my hands on Tiver on yet. Like, I think I've gotten the opportunity to draw him from the summoning pools every once in a while, but then my brain immediately goes, I want this Esper instead of this Esper. And that's basically it. One of these days, we will see Tiver's summoning animation, and if I remember correctly, it was an interesting one. Because I did summon him on my phone. I've I haven't said that in a long time, but yeah. Anyway, uh, I'm gonna turn it off now because I think that's starting to say the lyrics of the song. Yep. And then we have Knockout. I think this was the introduction to Knockout. Yep. All right. So this one was when they introduced a mare. All right. Yep. Here we go. So here's a mare. Now, um, how do I speak about a mare? So I actually don't know how to talk about it. Like, I wanted to try and talk about like my opinions of each Esper, but maybe the ad was like, "Hey, you want an advertisement? Let's sap your mind for that." I don't know. Anyway, so Amir, which is Enkidu. Now, if I remember correctly, I think Enkidu was the companion of Gilgamesh. I think that's what it was. But like I said a few times, my knowledge on Gilgamesh is a bit fuzzy. So anyway, yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, his ability. Right. Oh jeez. Okay, I completely forgot this was the version preview that introduced Petros. Right. So I somehow assumed like Petros was like in an earlier version for some reason, but no, it was this one. So yeah, here we go. We have the Minotaur, which I will say this: when I saw Petros for the first time, my mind went and said, "Wait a sec. If they're bringing in the Minotaur, then what other mythical creatures are they going to bring in? Like, uh, because the Minotaur was one of those that I was like not expecting. Um, but there are some exceptions. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in like what would be a good example? A unicorn. Like maybe that for an example, like an Esper gaining the powers of a unicorn, or maybe a leprechaun, or Jack Frost maybe. But I don't think those are classified as mythologies. Those are like fairy tales, and I think that's a whole different category. But still, it is interesting to see that the Minotaur was added to the game. Like, I think like one of the like a god that I would love to see in this game, or it's not really a god, it's a titan, is Surtur, if he ever gets added to the game, because I would love to see an Esper with like a really cool design with the powers of Surtur wielding the sword, which I think is called Ragnarok. But yeah, that still is my dream to see an Esper like with Surtur's powers. So anyway, let's get back to seeing Petros, which I think is yep. Yep. All right, and then here's Blazing Night Part 2. We'll turn off subtitles. Yep. There's the here we go. Okay, so um okay, so here's the thing about the infiltration op, which is the trials. This is the only time, although I still do it every now and again, where I accidentally broke the game because of a bug that was with Amir's ability, where I think the gimmick with the bug was that he would just constantly attack like every single round. I think it's like it's visible in the video, but I think that's how I feel like when I look at this. I think that's what happened was the bug just gave me by complete accident EX plus plus. And this was the only time I ever got EX plus plus. I think like the max I've gotten with like most of them was EX or EX plus, but this was the only time I got EX plus plus by complete accident, and I never planned it. And yeah. So anyway, yep. And oh right, I think this was also where they introduced oh, what was his name again? I completely forgot. It's not Kratos. And the name is on the tip of my tongue. Like, is it gonna pop up? No, it's not. Uh, I'm sure we'll find it like at a later point, but the name is literally on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. I know it's not Tartarus because that's a different thing. And did it actually say? I'm gonna quickly look. Um, let's just take a quick look. Battle Redux. I might be able to find the video because I did do a few videos on this guy. Wait, no, I did one. I'll look at it later. Anyway, next is the bootleg market. Oh yeah, the The day-night cycle. I'm just gonna be completely honest with everyone about the day-night cycle. I think it's one of the most useless updates in the game. Now, don't get me wrong, it does make the game look cooler, like to see it like in a nighttime scenery or in a daytime scenery, but the only thing it does is it like changes the time based on your time of day. Like for example, it's currently daytime right now, so it'll look like daytime in the game, but if there was like a gimmick in the game that was added to like go, okay, like if you want to do this mode, you have to come back at daytime at this time, or like this mode, but it's only unlocked when it's nighttime at this time. Like if there was something like that, I probably would say, okay, day night cycle, pretty cool updates, like something like that. But no, it's just a aesthetic change, which it's still a bit iffy with me. But I completely forgot that was also in the game. Probably because I most of the time play the game at night, since that's around the time I remember easily. Anyway, and there's this boom. Rival Rune. Oh, I completely forgot this was a gimmick. Not a gimmick. Hold on. Okay, I thought I heard someone knock on my door. So that's what I assumed. Okay, so anyway, Rival Rune. I completely forgot this was a thing in the game. I think it's only for like one mode. I think it's like the knockout mode. I can't remember, but it's one I never use often is the Rival Runes, and like I said, I completely forgot it was a thing in the game. Anyway, yep, and there we go. So, that's Blazing Night Part 2. Hold on. There we go, subtitles. So anyway, so next we have is Sloan from the, I think this was Dawn of Dark, yeah, Dawn of Darkness Part 1. And Sloan was the first Esper, which, I will be completely honest, I was sort of like hesitant with this Esper because her gimmick is to, with her ability, she freezes everyone on the field. Like, she freezes her teammates and opponents. That's the sort of, like, gimmick that I was, like, extremely iffy about. But I think it's once she reaches, Res 6, I think that gimmick is removed, where, you know, she only freezes the opponent. But I can't remember, and I don't even remember the last time I ever used her. I think the most common espers I've been using these days are ones we'll see later on. So anyway, yep. And oh, that's right. This was where the summer. This is around the same time as the summer festival for Dislyte. So I can't remember its title. I think it will pop up soon. But this is where they introduced one of the coolest skins for Jinkyu and Abigail wearing swimsuits, which still to this day are interesting. So anyway, right. So Abigail with Wave Maker and Jinkyu is the Wild Python. Yeah. And then we have Dawn of Darkness Part 1. Alright. Summer Splash, that's what it was. So, yeah, that's what it was. Summer Splash was where we introduced, what got the introduction for. Wait a sec, no, wasn't this the spur event that we could get Sloan? I think this was also an event that also had the ability that gives you Sloan. We'll find out when we scroll through it. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So this is where you would get the wild python costume. I think Abigail's costume was a paid only one, which I did get in the end, which that's okay and all. So yeah. Uh, but yep, and then yes, it was, and this was also an event that brought back Sujue as well. Um, actually, speaking of this mode again, like, hang on, let's bring it up. Yeah, there we go. So, speaking of this, I think it's next month. Like, if I remember correctly, I think. Hold on, when did this like release? Was it June? Like, let's check the date. Let's quickly check the date. I think it was no July. Oh, right, not June. I thought it was July. No, not July. I thought it was June where we would get the introduction for the summer. No, what am I thinking? The anniversary event is still rolling around, so that's probably what it is. What I was thinking. So yeah, like if there was like an Esper that would get a summer costume next, let me know in the comments or the chat, like right now. Who would you like to see wearing a summer themed like costume? I think for me, it's a tough decision, but I think it's like a tie between uh oh, yeah, that's a tough decision. Like, who would actually benefit from this sort of event? I know some people are probably going to say, oh, why not Ethanol? But that's not going to be the point. I think if they were to bring back that sort of event, there's a chance that there would be a Meta Esper in it. Not Eve, though. I don't know the chances of Eve ever getting a Meta Esper variation, but if she does get one, then I will say it. I'll be, like, over the moon situation if that ever happens. Because that was the same for Leora, but I was expecting it to be later on. So anyway, let's actually move on with the Sujue is back sort of thing. So yeah, this so yeah that there. Hang on. Yeah, with the Sujue is back. This was the way you also could get annoying itch. There you go. What was her name? I completely forgot her name. I already said it. It was Sloan. Yeah. So this was the other way to get. Well, I think it's the only way to get Sloan, but yeah. Anyway. Uh, then we have the bootleg market. Then we have Desert Land rewards upgrade. Yep. And there we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm gonna hide that. I'm going to click on. That was fast. I sort of was expecting an ad there. Okay. Well, next up is going to be part two. Yep, and this was a leaf, which is uh Inanna. Jeez, brain switched off as soon as I tried to say the Esper's name. But like I will be completely honest, when I saw her design at first, it was like, well, we've seen it already because similar to Amir, like we saw Amir's before he was added to the game. And that was the same for Elif. If I remember correctly, I think Elif was shown in Dawn of Darkness Part 1. Then we got her in the next version preview. So yeah, in fact, I think like I'm gonna say this, but um with the next Esper that would be added to the game, I think it might be Arthur. Like I'm just gonna say this now because we've seen Arthur in the current story, which I will spoil this right now. I'm halfway through the story. I just gotta wait till the last like 3 or 4 chapters release, which will be 2 weeks from now. So yeah, but Arthur was added to the game, not added to the game, but appeared in the story. So that gives me the idea of thinking, okay, so if Arthur's there, then maybe he'll be added to the game next or in a later version. I don't know, but I'm gonna predict like what like his like alignment would be, like element, and I'm predicting he might be a Shimmer Esper or a Inferno Esper. Fingers crossed he's not a an Umbra Esper, because I thought we were getting an Umbra Esper in this current version, but no, we weren't. Anyway, let's move on with the Leaf. Oh, right, that's what she was saying. Was these words right here. Yep, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I think Elif with her lion sort of made me go, oh, that's what she has. She has a lion, and it's impressive. Like, I will say that. Like, I think that's what sold me on her Esper abilities. So yeah. Anyway, there's the lion. Oh yeah. And then we have Moroyama, which is Yamata no Orochi, which I will say the katana is impressive, and I think like Moroyama wielding the katana is like connected to Orochi's story with Japanese mythology. I think it was Japanese mythology. I can't remember the exact details, but I think it had something to do with a sword and the snake, but I don't remember the exact details. So anyway, then we have Dawn of Darkness with the beast that I can't remember its name, and then the anyway, Summer Woman. Oh yeah, this was still during the summer event, which added the warm up match, which I still hate that like mode. That yeah, like out of all the modes that exist in Dislyte, warm up match is still my least favorite one of them all. But I don't think we've seen it in a long time. So anyway, yeah, because the gimmick was you choose espers and then you like remove one, and then the opponent removes one of yours, sort of thing. And then we had that one, which was championship for Yamato. No, not Yamato. Was it Yamato? Yeah, I think that's Yamato. So anyway, then we have combat trophy rewards. What was this one? Yeah, I don't think I did this one because I was too focused on the story, or I forgot this was a thing. Anyway, and then all this. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with Moriyama getting this sort of like limited time Esper fusion event. It was bad. I will say it. It was completely bad. In my opinion, it was bad because even though it gives you the chance to summon a free Shimmer Esper, the reason why I found it was like bad is because you had to max res certain Espers. Now with let's just quickly go over them. So the ones that I think were the easiest were Q, the yeah, I think it was the Flow Espers, the Inferno Espers, the Wind Espers, and Q. I can't remember her name. Odette, I think it was her name is. Odette was a bit more of a challenge to level up because I think in order to do that, you needed um a certain requirement, or this was before Odette was obtained through fusion, but I can't remember the exact details. So yeah, like if you were able to get Odette, that would be a good thing. But the bit that I would say that was the most tricky bit was Yamato and Yuhime, because you needed to max them out, like stat wise. I don't think you needed like max res. I think you needed to get them to a max level, get max stats in their abilities and like certain requirements, and then get tickets for Moriyama. That's the bit that I found was like difficult because I didn't have Yuhime maxed out. and there was no chance I would have Yamato maxed out at the time. So this one I would say was a bit of a flop. But it was still a good chance to get Moriyama, and I still got Moriyama in the end. Not with this, but with the Shimmer summon pool, which that's still a good thing. If I was able to summon him in the end, otherwise I'll probably complain a bit more. So anyway. Yep, and there's the... Sure that ends. There we go. Okay. So. Let's go ahead and hide this again. Because I'm pretty sure if I do this... Yep. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to unhide that. Alright. Next up was Osana, which is Zype Totek. What was my opinion of her? I actually don't know, because I will say it, I still haven't summoned her yet, so I don't know, like, whether her like, I do like the designs of the Espers, so that's at least a tick, but, like, battle tactics and whatnot, I don't know, because I haven't summoned her in, well, I think the last time I used her was literally for the story event, which, as I said, was like, actually, no, I don't know if I said it, but actually, no, I think I did say this a few times, like, one of the things that I need to do is not only obtain the Esper, but I need to use them a certain number of times to go, okay, I could probably do this as a build. Since I haven't summoned Osana yet, and she has appeared a few times in, like, different events for, like, summoning, um, like the Burning Beats Rave summon, like, not that was, it was that, the Shimmer summon, but I can't remember the exact details, but I have seen her a few times to summon her, but I always like go, nope, I don't think I would want to summon her. I would rather summon an Esper that's harder to obtain. Like, maybe she should be the next Esper I get from the Wish Pool, is the only thing I could think of, but I don't know yet, so we'll just go ahead and keep going. Yeah, and then we have the Shadows over Orville story event, which I think it was just like a single event, so there was no need to do like... Okay, like, I'm gonna quickly say this. So, with events that are just one set of chapters, like there's no alternate chapters, I will always do this whenever I did story videos. It was always going to be, if this criteria is met, then I could just make it a full story video. Like, for example, this one was just one story video. There's a few others that also fit that criteria, like, what's a good example? I'm going to quickly minimize this and just take a look at the options really quick. So let me just see. It was not these ones. It was I think these ones. No, it might not be that one. Hang. Were any of these like with? No, I think these was like multiple chapters. Let's just scroll up and just see if I can find some alternates. Which one was it? Hang on. If I go back up here, I think it was... Here we go. Right, this one. So the fireworks celebration. That was just one chapter. So what I did was just put it as one story video when I did that one. And this was, I think, also the same with where is it? This one, the one that introduced Ooh, I forgot his name. But that one was also a single chapter. The charity show was supposed to be a single chapter, but since I was recording story videos and I was never aware of any of the continuations of events, where my first reaction was, "There's another event," sort of thing. But to be fair, that was just my reaction before I started doing like Dislyte reaction videos. And nowadays, it's like, okay, here's another event. That's good to know. So yeah. Anyway, um, okay. Then we have Rift Crisis. Oh yeah, this mode was a weird one. Wait a minute. Oh no, those memory rifts. Right, I forgot. And then we have yes, here we go. We have Sander getting a costume, which is the Warhorse Trek, which eh, I don't know what to say about that one. Then oh yeah, the hard difficulty of Temporal Tower, right. And then oh yeah, that was a thing, the order battle. Yep, optimizations for knockouts. And there we go. Okay. Same deal again. We're going to minimize this. And then we're going to jump into... Oh, that's... Alright, there we go. Oh, actually, speaking of... Well, actually, no, I'll talk about it in the next bit. So, anyway. Next up is... Seek the Unknown. Okay, so this is when they introduced the Meta Espers into Dislyte. Yep. And... Yep. Well, actually, now that I think about it, with what Liu Shang not Liu Shang, crap, how did I forget his name? It pops up here. Yun Xuan! I mixed up Liu Shang and Yun Xuan by complete accident. But with what he says here, never underestimate. My brain just switched off as soon as I tried speaking. So, where he says never underestimate your opponent. Okay, maybe that's what I should do with what's his name? Gigantus with Sonic Frontiers, because why am I always bringing up that that boss fight against him, which is Gigantus for some reason. Maybe it's because he was like the most difficult boss fight in the game at the moment, but as he said, never underestimate your opponents, and I think the other word is to also be prepared, which what I was doing was rushing through the boss fight without thinking. So what I should do is well, I'm gonna bring I should move on. Let's just move on with this right here, as we have the the best line from my original video, because I think I still have the I think the reaction video was there, but it's just me just going fish. Like, it's just a bunch of fish. So yeah, anyway. Oh yeah, there's Yijing. Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. I'll take a look at that picture in a sec. Like, okay, I'm gonna just bring this up right here. So, when I saw this character, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but she has the ability to summon, like, rocks and all. I assumed she was going to be a villain in this story, but no, apparently I was completely wrong. So, yeah, anyway. Now, I have to see this for myself. Uh, okay, so, what on earth is this? I'm just going to be completely honest. Is this Yun Xuan's wolf having a standoff with Lu Sheng's koi? I think that's a koi fish. Like, are they just having a standoff saying, hey, this is my turf? Like a staring contest? Uh, if like when I'm gonna say this, like I assumed like when I saw the picture when I was like scrolling through this, like going through the video, I assumed that it was one of those silly pictures where it was like both the wolf and the koi kissing Li Ling on the both sides of the cheek on the face. But no, it's just me going, wait, no, it's this, not that. Uh, well, that is still a funny picture. Like, if I wanted to, I could make this a thumbnail, but no, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, oh, okay. Oh, there's the torch dragon, and there's the yep, yeah. Well, who knows? But anyway, yeah. So, I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, so first up we have is Liu Shang, which is Jiang Zia, which yeah, yep. And then we have the first ever meta esper in Dislyte, which was Li Ling, which is the meta variation of Neza. Which I will be completely honest, like when I saw this, I thought, okay, this is probably gonna be something that appears like maybe once a year sort of thing. That's what I thought of at first until nowadays, where we're seeing them like every like 2 or 3 versions now. So yeah. Anyway, now if I remember correctly, with how many meta espers there are at the moment, there's Li Ling, Yun Xuan, Freddy, Mona, uh, Ira was another one. Alexa was also another one. Drew, Ollie. So there's like, actually no, wait, no, I was about to go. Wait, no, there's 8 espers that have meta variations. I was completely wrong. It's 9, and I completely forgot Leora had a meta esper variation this year. So there's 9 now, and that number is probably gonna start like getting bigger as time goes forward. So yeah, I mean, regardless, like if we the more meta espers we get, I'm still going to be doing special videos that showcase the original and the awakened forms or the meta forms as these are. Anyway, yep, yeah, and then we have the way of mastery. Then we have this one again. Like, is this going to have his no? And then we have the first of the Seek the Unknown challenges. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with everyone. My opinion on these is still mixed. But I will be completely honest. Like I think the first like my opinion is both positive and negative. Like it was something new at the time, but it was not at the same time because like not with this one because literally like the bosses that were at the ends of these challenges were all just from what I recall, I believe they were all just the Holy Stone Tyrants. I believe like I can't remember but anyway. So yeah, I think there was 4 of them like at a time. So then we have Heaven's End and yeah, just a few of them. Anyway, yeah. And then all this. Yeah, so these acquired special emblems for espers, and then we had the ability to summon uh Li Ling, and then the Game Pass for this one. Oh, it's nearly finished. And here we go. Okay. So, after this next one, which is the Plane of Illusion, I will take a 5-minute break just to chat for a bit. Oh, and it just loaded up so fast. Like, all right. So there we go. There we go. Okay. So yeah. Oh, actually, hang on. Yep. So then we have Eugene. One thing I should probably mention about this version preview was that this was one of those like version previews that I uploaded much later than anticipated. The reason was that I was on holiday at the time I recorded this video. Well, actually no. I recorded this video on one day before I went on my holiday. And when I came back, I uploaded this one having a note to say, "Hey, I'm back. Here's the video that I reacted to before I went on holiday," sort of thing. So, yeah, like there are times where this might happen, but nowadays it's not really a thing for me to go, "Okay, I'm back. Here's video of me reacting to this." There's not that much of that sort of thing, but yeah, anyway. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yep. Here we go. Okay. So, then let's go back to the topic of when the Seek the Unknown played. So, when I said, okay, I assumed that this character was going to be evil in that event. I was completely wrong. Well, Zaihi wasn't evil. I just misread the situation. But yeah, the character that was the evil one will appear in part 2 of the final Elegy, which we'll show off in a bit. Yep. Yeah, and then oh yeah, this was this one. So we have. Wait, no, this was the Halloween event, wasn't it? Because I think this was when it was happening. I can't remember. We'll take a look at it because we're still playing through it anyway. So we have the Underworld official, which is the costume for Zayuji. Zayuzi. I don't know how to say his name. And then we have Plane of Illusion. Then we have this again. Yep. Miracle Expedition. Right. So here's the thing about these Miracle Expeditions in Phase 2. Now, they mentioned there were unique bosses at the end of these. But the only problem was that I could never get to them. So I don't know if there was like unique boss fights at 450 or they were just like a recolored variation of a Holy Stone Tyrant. I don't know because yeah. So if anyone wants to tell me in the chat or the comment section, go ahead because this event is something I'm okay with getting spoiled because there's like no chance the bosses will reappear in any future versions. It's just my theory. Or was me saying that aloud just going to let them appear in the next ones? I don't know. Anyway. Yep. So yes, this was the Halloween event or All Hallows adventure. Yeah, so this was where we can get the costume for Zayuzi. Or Zayuji, or however it's pronounced. Yep. Yep, and there we go. Alright. So, before we move on to the next version, we are going to have a bit of a 5-minute intermission, per se, where I'm going to set this timer for 5 minutes. Well, where did I toss my phone? Ugh! Where'd it go? Oh, found it. It's buried underneath a pillow. Okay. So, this is just going to be a 5-minute timer just for us to simply chat and talk about anything you have an interest in, like whether or not like it doesn't matter. You can just let me know. Uh, I'll have my mic muted just in case no one wants to chat. So, anyway, let's go ahead and start the timer now, and we'll see how this goes. Uh, What are we going on about? Alright, I think that actually might be enough. Maybe 5 minutes was a bit too much, so maybe it's because I like had better chances at stuff to do than nowadays. So anyway, so maybe next time we'll just do like a 2 minute or 2.5 minute timer. So anyway, let's go ahead and load up the next version preview, which I should have done earlier, but nope. Instead, I decided to go. Okay, let's do it when I'm finished with my little short intermission chat sort of thing. Which anyway, so now we have the Yun Xuan. Ah, okay, for those who are wondering what just happened, my foot just slid on the charging cable and just went straight into the footrest. Anyway. Yep. Yep, and then we have... Oh yeah, here we go, Wenlock. This is also the second Esper to be introduced. Yep, and then here we go. So we have Final Elegy Part 1. And then this guy... Oh, I should have looked up... You know, I'm gonna do it now. Okay, you know, let's do it now. I'm gonna look up his name because it's gonna start, like, driving me up a wall if I don't do it now. Alright, let's just see really quick. I'm just gonna bring this up. Now, I think if I type in first attempt... Uh... No, it's... Oh no, wait, no, I think it's... Boss fights. Yep, I think that might be it. Oh, geez, there's a lot of videos I've done with, boss fights. And it's not that one either. Okay, maybe if I type in... No? This is going to annoy me, isn't it? Let's just type in that. Alright. You know, I might just bring up the version preview. Not the version preview, the, patch notes. 3... Let's see the... Alright. So when did... Yeah, so he was introduced in... this one. June 18th. 2024? Where are you? This one? Yep. There. Uh... Proteus, that's what his name was. I completely forgot that his name was Proteus. Probably because it doesn't look like a... Doesn't look like Proteus at all. Anyway. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's bring that back up. Let's keep going. Alright. So then we have the Seek the Unknown Phase 3. Which I think, like, out of all the phases, I think Phase 3 was, like, the more successful phase for me. At least I think it was. Which... can't really remember, so... yeah, anyway. Then we had the... I think the audio cut out for a split second. Yep, then we have the championship, which is when Wenlock was added to it. Yep, and there we go. So that's the first one. Now we're going to go ahead and do this again. Or not. Okay. Here we go. Oh, right, I should probably explain this, which, for each version preview, if there's a two-parter, that counts as one for this, but it's a bit complicated to explain. Anyway, so here we go. We now have Beatow. Yep, and then... oh, yeah! Ming Shou, or Shuao, which I will say, like, I think now that I've used him a few times, his gimmick is interesting. Or at least, like, his abilities are interesting. Even though he reduces his own HP to do a lot of damage, which kind of would give it like a glass cannon sort of build, but it is interesting. Plus, he's a mailman as well. Yep, and then we have the Trials, Proteus, and then, right, so this is when they introduced the Torch Dragon. Now, a bit of a fun fact about this boss fight. I still have several videos to do on this one. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, what was this year again? Was it 2024? Quickly bring that up. It was, yeah, November 13, 2024. And 2 years later, I still haven't done those videos. Because I'm doing, like, there's, like, a lot of videos that I still have to do at the exact same time that fits, like, entirely. So, apart from this, I believe I do also have videos for some of the other trials I completed. I don't know. That one's a question mark. Um, and there's more related to the sand, like the later version. We'll talk about that. Like, there's a lot that I still have to do that's like video wise, and it's just the timing and trying to piece together everything in a certain way that is sort of confusing in a way. But still, it is interesting that we're going to be doing just that at some point. Anyway, and there's, yeah, Esper Fusion. Oh yeah, this was how you unlock Ming Shao. So, in order to summon him, not only do you need the Espers, which I had them at the time, you also need the tickets to summon him, which, to obtain those, is in a bit of an annoying way, but it was from the Desolate Lands. And I don't know, remember, but I think it has to be the hard difficulty of Desolate Lands. I don't remember, but someone could let me know. It could be the hard difficulties, it could be the easy ones. I don't remember, but anyway. Yep. Yep, and there's that one. So, up. Uh, Here we go. Alright, let's bring that back up. Bring this up. Bring. Okay. Hey! It's been a long time since I did it before. It's like, just go, oh, hey, don't start playing until I press spacebar. Now we can begin. Yep. So, there we have Nathaniel, which is Numbaba. And... Yep. 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 In fact, I'm gonna be honest here. The squirrel actually looks pretty cute in the game. It's just like, I don't know, maybe it's like I have a thing for like small creatures that are like, okay, this looks cute because it's a small animal like creature sort of thing. I don't know. Like, it's weird how my brain works here and there, but anyway. Yep, there's that. And then Solstice Celebration. Yeah. That was, oh. Okay, well, the headset I'm wearing is on low battery. Let's just hope it can get through the rest of this live stream. Or what I could do is the intermission phase. I'll just put it on the charger for like a few minutes. Uh, don't remember how the claw machine worked since we haven't seen it in a long time. There's Discboom wearing the Christmas costume as well. And then there's Championship with Wenlock returning. Oh yeah! This was also where Ying Long was introduced. So originally, for those who have didn't know this, Ying Long was a replacement for Andrus in Dislyte because Andrus was just a recolored, altered variation of the three messengers gimmicks. Like, I think it was the scythe of one of them. I think it was the weapon of the Scorched Messenger, the cloak of the Withering Messenger, and the minions of the wind-themed one. I can't remember its name. It's the... I think it's the... Yeah, I think it's the Wind Messenger, or it's like... it's a weird one. It was either Wind Messenger, Gale Messenger, or Storm Messenger. I don't remember its name, but it was like a combination of the three, sort of thing, which made it into Andrus. And there is a way to battle Andrus in this day and age, but he's more tricky to defeat, which is within the what was it called? The challenge mode, which is the Marmon Labs. He appears in there now. So anyway, yep, there's Ying Long. And I would say it was a major improvement to use a new dragon like a new like boss instead of reusing some originals. So yeah, anyway. Alright, next up. Which is going to be interesting. So so this is the one that introduced Yukine to Dislyte. Yep. And I think I might be honest here. My honest opinion of her design was a bit of a 50-50 sort of thing, but afterwards I was like, you know, it's not bad. Plus I think she's based off of or like the design might be themed off of ooh, I can't remember his name. I think it's something to do with Yukiona. Yep. Yep, so there's that, and then we have the Snowy Nightmare. Yeah, and then okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with the trial. I think it was much more difficult with her abilities because her gimmick is to set up snowstorms and everyone takes damage randomly. So yeah. Anyway, Frozen Crucible, which was I don't remember what this one was. Oh, that was it. Thought there was going to be more of that one. Huh. Okay, so definitely a bit of a shorter one this time. Yep, yep. I'm. Okay. Alright, alright! I was looking at something else. Okay. Alright. Now we can begin this one. So this one was Zuisai, which was Beast Nyan. And I think I was a little bit hesitant on how his gimmick worked. But I think it was like this was one of the espers that had their ult ability locked until a certain condition was met, which I think it was like to counter 3 times, and then you could use this ability. I think that's how it worked. Yep. Yep. And oh yeah, this is one of the espers that never got a story event. So there will be a few of them here and there, which I'll describe when we get to those. Yeah. And then we have the New Year's event, which I think this one was Snake. I think this is when it was introduced, or at least that variation of it. Yep. And then we have Championship, Calamity Islands. Okay, this is when the Shimmer variation of Calamity Island. And then the Depot, Zodiac Trials. I forgot that was a thing. Yep. So there's that one. Yeah, we're speeding through these now, probably because I'm watching more than commentating. So that's okay. Uh anyway. So next up. Then is it after this one we have a small intermission? Yeah, so after this one we'll have an intermission for a chance to give my headset a bit of a break so I could recharge it for a little bit. So here we have Zhao Hong, which is Gong Gong, and this is one of those episodes that I was like confused. But after doing like a few videos with him, it now became a bit more. Oops, didn't mean to hit the mic. A bit more of an understanding for like, oh, his gimmick is to give a buff to an ally, and then that's basically it, sort of thing. But yeah, anyway. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then this was the Valentine's Day event as well, which featured Elaine and Leora getting Valentine's Day costumes. Wait, let me go back to no, bring back Elaine for a sec. Okay, so I was completely wrong. Okay, so um, when I looked at Elaine's design earlier, my brain thought, hold on a second, did something change about the Rosie Serenade costume? Like, was there a different color to the appearance of her hair or the uniform sort of thing? No, it was just my imagination going, no, this happened, but in reality, nothing happened, sort of thing. I don't know, my brain does that sort of thing every now and again, but yeah. So this featured Elaine and Leora getting Valentine's Day costumes. And then we have the Moonlit Fireworks, which I will be completely honest here. This was the last story event with this sort of format where it was like, I think it'll show here. Uh, yeah, it was like this sort of thing. So this was the last story event that featured this sort of format. Whereas the story videos going forwards, like the Lost Sands, Burning Beats Rave. Wait a minute, there's so many left. Oh, I thought it had more saved on this thing. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. My brain was like, wait a minute, didn't I have more? No, I forgot. It was up to the last version preview, which was Phantom Feast Part 2. God. my brain sometimes just goes, no, it's like I said, my brain just assumes that it's in one place, but in reality, it's in another sort of thing. But anyway, so let's keep going. Yep, and then we have, yep, and then I believe this was the last time we ever got to see Proteus as well. So hopefully, like, someday we'll get to rebattle Proteus. Like, whether like he's in a different like formula, like maybe for example, like a guild boss, like the Dark Star Lord, the projection of the Forbeta projection and Countess Sonica sort of thing. Or it could like appear in a future event where he's like a limited time raid boss that appears and then is gone for like a certain period of time. But yeah, like I think I will say it. I do sort of miss this boss fight. And I think the last time he ever appeared on this channel was the Moonlit Fireworks boss fight, which was against Zhao Hong and Zuisai. But anyway, then we have the Spring Blossom. Oh yeah. Yep, then we have the Chaos Realm. I don't remember that. Passions and Ideals, so this was how you got the alternate costume for Leora. And yeah, there was also messages for Espers. I don't think they did this year, so Elaine was from the Game Pass, but Leora was from that event, so yeah. But I still got both of them in the end. And there we go. So there's that one done. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my headset off. I might do 5 minutes again, but we'll just, yeah, we'll try the 5 minutes again, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to grab the charger first. Where is it? Here. All right. Okay, so intermission starts now. So we'll be here to just chat and, yeah.
All right, there we go. I just had to unplug my the headset and microphone, and yeah, we'll just let that charge. And all right.
Alright, forgot to unmute that, so got the original microphone set up again. So now we could continue the version preview reaction video, which there isn't much left, as I said. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left. So I think what we will do is we'll go through them. Because how I did it, as I said like a few times before, each video that has 2 parts will be its own one. So instead of 2, it's 1 video per like thing. It's confusing to explain, but anyway. So we should be nearly finished here. So where's the sound? Oh, there it is. I was wondering where the sound went in my headset. Yeah, so there's Lapis. And then we have the start of a trend nobody asked for. Well, I was the only one who never asked for this sort of thing. But basically, this is what has been every single version preview. Not version preview. Every single version for the past couple of months now. So it has always been Abyssal Trials, Memory Rift, and Point Wars. Now, it does have joint forces in this one, but that was that original version, not the current versions, because they mostly have the Abyssal Trials and Memory Rift, and if on random occasions, Point Wars. But not only that, but this was also the first version to introduce medals to the game. So instead of getting name cards, you're now getting medals, which is a little bit disappointing in my opinion, because it's like they've gone from one thing to another. But I mean, it was something different at the time. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Then we have Rift Crisis, which is mostly linked to Memory Rift, if I remember correctly. So that's not that interesting. Oh yeah, there was a video connected to that. And then we have Championship, which, yep. And then we have Level Breakthrough. Now I believe this was, yeah, this was the first version preview to introduce the ability to go above level 60, which is to now level 70, as the max level cap as of this moment. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're going to go any higher, like to 80 or 90, or if we're going to be crazy enough, 100. But if that does happen, then there's a lot more combinations that can be used in Dislyte with that sort of thing. But with the moment, level 70 is the max cap sort of thing at the moment. And yep, so there's our first Doomsday Horizon event. So now I'm going to just do that, and then the one that I'm actually more of a fan of, which is the meta variation of Drew. Alright. So now let's go ahead and show off this. Alright. Yep. So it's the Union and the Shadow Decree joining forces to research the miracle. And stop a crisis as well. Which it was the Bennu Heron. Yep. And here it is. The meta version of Drew, which I will say is one of my favorite variations of a meta Esper in Dislyte. Now, My opinion could change if we obtain Leora, but as it stands, like my top three meta espers in Dislyte, in my opinion, are Drew, uh, Li Ling, and Mona. But Mona is currently tied with Freddy, so it's probably like 4 at the moment. But maybe one day I'll go on like a like an opinion spree of like how many espers we've seen for meta variations and just grade them, like which one is the best and which one is the worst sort of thing. But for the time being, so far Drew is in the number 1 spot, followed by number 2 being Mona or Freddy, and number 3 being Li Ling. But as I said, that could change if we obtain Leora, so we'll see how that goes. Also, one last thing I should probably mention before we show off the ultimate animation of Drew for the meta variation. With that scene, like the summoning animation for Drew, I used that in one of my other videos. It was one of the. It was in the reworked video where the story was that we were framed by our father for something and sent us to jail, sort of thing. Yeah, it was the go to jail and make friends Roblox game, and the original scene I was not satisfied with. So what I did was I took the summoning animation of Drew and placed that in the video instead to do a bit more of a okay, it's this sort of thing instead of what it was originally. So yeah, I might do it again with videos that I'm like, no, I don't trust this. I'm gonna do something else with something else. Probably not the Drew summoning animation, but like other summoning animations could be like in videos if needed. But until then, that skill will be just like probably just like what do we do? Ah, here we go. I'll use this will be like this. It'll just go up my sleeve, and if absolutely necessary, I'll just pull it out and go from there. Also, this is a it's a cloth. Yeah, I'm using this cloth for like yeah, it's one of those like glasses like cleaning. It's used to like clean glasses, but the actual use I use that for is my keyboard for one reason, and one reason only. Every time I have my keyboard down, it just does this weird like it doesn't stay straight sort of thing, where it's like it's positioned there, but it can still do something like that. So what I decided to do is, if you want to do it as well, feel free. Grab a cleaning cloth or something of that agenda, place it underneath the keyboard, and that stabilizes it. That's what I've been doing for most of my life at this stage, because I'm one of those people who has OCD, and if that's just there, it's just going to just go, stop, sort of thing. Anyway, we should move on. Yep, and then we have the Lost Sands, which I will say is one of my favorite modes in Dislyte to ever be released, because it turns Dislyte into a roguelike. And throughout my entire journey of this event, I kept breaking the game with some hilarious combinations and that sort of thing. But it is still going to be my favorite mode for Dislyte is this. For as I said, it's a roguelike gimmick. Anyway, uh, we'll finish this up. And then there we can summon Drew. And then the Game Pass. And there we go. So now, do Alright, I just need a drink of water there since, well, to be honest, I needed a drink of water because my throat was starting to dry out because I was talking too much. But anyways, up next is going to be Badrin. Yep, so Badrin, who has the powers of Konsu, which, it's definitely an interesting one. So yeah. Yep. And then we have the introduction to the Benyu Heron as an actual boss fight in the sand in the Lost Sands mode or the Scroll of Life per se, which I'm gonna be completely honest with everyone. Every time we see the Benyu Heron in any story, any like thing I do with the Benyu Heron, the first instinct my mind is going to always do is if it's always going to be the silly clip I keep making, which is just the audio clip of Drew going, "Please take your rest," and then all of a sudden, fireball, 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 fire. No, it's like fire, fire, fire. It's basically, "Please take your rest, fire, 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 fireball." It's basically my stupid audio clip of me going fireball. Ugh. It's basically my clip of me just saying fireball 4 times in a row, synchronized to the Benyu Heron's attacks. So that's what I did with the last one when we did the story video for Mona. Is just that, man. And no matter what, I'm always going to be using that stupid audio clip of me just going fireball in any any necessary moment I feel like it. But anyway, yeah. And then this is when they introduced the last 2 relics. And there's Momo. I nearly said Mormo. eh. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then this is where they introduced balances to the Shimmer Espers, so they weren't as powerful as they were. Although some of them are still overpowered to this day, and I think the best example was Moriyama, because no matter how many times I see him, my butt is always kicked by him. Yep. And there we go. So next is going to be the Birdie Beats Rave Part 1. Or an ad first. That doesn't really matter, but yeah. Eh. Alright, there we go. Alright. Here we go. Yep, and this is where we got introduced to Ira. Ah, yeah, there they are. Phobator and... Oh, right! This is also where we were introduced to, Umbra Espers. Yep. Anyways, here's Ira with the better Freya. Yep. Yep, there's that. And I will say this, I do still use, Ira every once in a while, but just not as often as I used to, since... Well, I don't know, maybe it's because combination-wise? She's sort of like another variation of Zora, where her attacks attack all opponents. whereas Zora does the exact same thing, but with a follow-up attack. So it's been weird, like how her gimmick works. But yeah, anyway, there's the Burning Beats rave. Yep, and then yeah, there's oh yeah, this also introduced the chance to summon a free Esper. And then we had that one, and then yeah, and then we have Sweet Wishes, which I'm gonna be completely honest with everyone. I partially forgot about this last year, and I have a reason for that. So last year, I was actually working on this as well as another video, but then I completely forgot about the Sweet Wishes. I was like, okay, what do I do in this situation? Do I do option A or option B? Do I do the Sweet Wishes, which I will do this year, or do I do my alternate option, which the original plan was to do a reaction video, like live stream, last year. But the day that the video was stationed for, or the live stream was positioned for, was on a Saturday, and I worked for 7 hours on a Saturday, so I had two options. Option A was to do the live stream, and then the Sweet Wishes video at a later point, or option B was to do a simpler video as a one-off like situation. And I decided to just take the unique option because instead of just doing another live stream, I just said, okay, I'ma just do a video of showing off all the summoning animations for all the legendary espers we've seen thus far. And that's what I did. And at the end, I still did the traditional cut a cake thing, which we will be doing after uh this one, which I think is going to be Phantom Feast Part 2. Yeah, it's gonna be that because we only have like one, two, three, four. Yeah, only like there's not many videos left, is there? But yeah, well, oh well. But yeah, that's basically what I did. And then we have the rewind event, which I never really do. And then we have Mind Invasion, which did do like a similar justice as the Lost Sands, but not as well because I'll be completely honest. When I saw this, I thought, oh, this is going to be similar to the Lost Sands. No, I was completely wrong. It was similar, just not as great as how the Lost Sands did it. And similar to most of these, I could not progress through the story because I think in order to, well, not the story, the event, because I think in order to progress to the next level, you would need at least 1 star on all the stages you like the previous stage. It reached the point where I finally said, "Nope, I'm done. No more mind invasions because this is just going to drive me up the dang wall." And that's what it did. Was it drove me up a wall eventually. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah. Also, the other thing is, I still didn't understand how this like the mind invasion gimmicks work either. That's another thing I should probably say. Now, yeah, and then we have the assault trials, and then memory rifts, and then Esper switch. Oh yeah, this is also where they introduced the ability to swap your Espers. So instead of it being Disc Boom 24/7, you can have Ira there, and that also applies to a few other Espers. So there's the Espers that are like doing this sort of thing where they're as the DJ are Disc Boom, Ira, Freddy, Sieg, and the last one, which is the current one, which I still need to get Leora, is the better variation of Leora. So there's like 5 different DJs you could do for the bounty task, and to be honest, I have not done a video that did one of these stories for a very long time. So maybe I'll think about doing it again, like maybe at a later point. But so far, I still have like a lot more videos to do before that happens. But for now, let's just keep going. Or never mind, we're just gonna move on to part two because that just finished up. Okay, so let's just hide that. Get an ad. Here we go. Um, here we go. And there we go. Okay. So, here we go. So this is where they introduced Umbra Espers into Dislyte, which, how they work, for those who don't know how Umbra Espers work, they appear once every 4 version previews. Now, I think there was supposed to be one planned, or I assumed there was one meant to be for this current version preview that we're at, but since we had the anniversary event, I think they replaced it with the meta variation of Leora instead of doing that. But that's okay as well. So, yeah, anyway. First up we have is Sieg, and still to this day, I actually do use Sieg for the Umbra Espers. Like, out of all the Umbra Espers, Sieg's is probably, like, one of the better gimmicks, because his gimmick is to not only put on his undispellable debuff, but that also does damage to opponents. So yeah. Anyway. Yep. And there it is. Yep. Then we have the Nocturne Echo, which is the only way you can obtain the current Umbra Esper of the version, which was Sieg at the time. Yep. Then we have the Esper Transcendence, which I will be completely honest with everyone. I completely forgot this was a thing, because I think the only Esper with the ability to do the Transcendence was Javid. And they might have added like more Espers that could do it as well, but I haven't even been noticing any differences for that. Like, but in the end, I still forgot that Javid has it, and I might look at it to see if I can even do anything with that, because yeah. Anyway, and there's Sieg on the turntable. That one was fast. Jeez. Yeah, maybe that's why they stopped doing version previews for Dislyte. Is like they're just so fast entirely. But yeah, anyway. Anyway, up next we have is going to be the second variation of the Doomsday Horizon, which was for uh this guy, I forget his name, Pindar, which is Orpheus, and I will be completely honest. Uh, I did not expect that to be the appearance for someone with Orpheus's power. I expected someone to have like a harp sort of thing, but nope. Instead, Pindar is the one, and they're still cool looking in the end. Also, I'm gonna say this now, but Pindar gives me the vibes of the Joker from Batman. Because he's like, smile. Oh, you don't deserve to hear this sort of thing. Like, I don't know. It's like he has a similar personality to the Joker. Uh, I don't know. If there was a chance for like a collab with the bat with Batman, which the chances of that happening is like 0 in my opinion. Uh then I'm pretty sure Pindar would work well with the Joker because of their similar appearance wise, like personalities. But like I said, the chances of that happening is 0. So who knows? Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I've seen weirder things happen, but I don't know. Let's just move on. Ah, yes, and this is with Maria. Now, similar to the majority of the Shimmer Espers that are probably going to be for these next few version previews, I still don't know much about her because the only bits I know about is that she's a healer and that her abilities grant the chance of frozen. And that's all I'm aware of. But the truth is, I did actually obtain her on here. And that's all I'm going to say, really. So, yeah. Yep. And then we have the Doomsday Horizon event, which. And then join forces as well, which. I still have had a mini. Wait, no, I don't think it was this one. No, I don't think it's the next one. Then we have Memory Rift. And then Abyssal Trials. And then the Superpoint Wars. Yep, and there we go. Anyway, what was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say. Anyway, whatever it was, I'm pretty sure it wasn't important, but so anyway, let's go ahead and bring this back up. And now we've got ourselves the Summer Bash event, which I'm gonna be honest with everyone. Uh, hold on. Yeah, there. Okay. So, when I was first reacting to this video for the first ever time, I didn't even notice Eve was in the scene. Like, I will be completely honest, I didn't see Eve there because I was too focused on Javid. Because, yeah, like, I was too focused on Javid because I was like, oh! Or I was too focused on whatever's on screen right now. Speaking of things I didn't even notice, and this is a positive thing for going back and reacting to all these videos, I didn't realize Jin Q was buried in the sand. Or at least, like, buried up to chest height, per se. I didn't even notice that until I'm returned to these reaction videos. So, let's quickly explain this thing now. So, when I saw Eve, it was when I was editing this video. When I saw Jin Q just sitting in the sand, is right now. So, anyway, let's keep going. And then we have, yeah, there they are. Just competing. And there's the Sunken Shrine. Yep. And here we have Tetsuya. Oops. Paused a bit too late there, so bring that back up. So, here's the thing about my opinion with Tetsuya. I like the design, but his battle tactics are bad, like, or crap, like, bad, like, in my opinion. Like, I'm not a big fan of his battle tactics because they're confusing to understand. Because here's how it works: wherever you position Tetsuya on the team depends on what opponent he attacks. For example, if he's positioned in spot 1, he'll probably attack like the opponent that's in position 2. Like, or like if he's positioned in the center, he'll probably attack the person in the center. Backline, it's sort of weird. Like I don't understand how his gimmick works. If someone knows how it works, you can let me know because still to this day, I stopped using him because I didn't know how his ability worked or works in a way. But yeah, if I was to, like place like my least favorite like Esper, sadly it's going to be Tetsuya because his gimmicks aren't the greatest. So so yeah, like I normally don't say this for like Espers at all. Like normally I'm positive with the Espers, but this is the only exception. Anyway, yep, and then we have Jinkyu with the Ventus Waltz costume. And then the Summer Bash event, which was the only time you could get not Javid, not Jinkyu. Why did I say Jinkyu? Okay. Yep, so the Summer Bash, and then we have Island Adventures, which is the ooh, what was it called? Tempest Trial. That's what it was. So basically, you pick an Esper and you go up the trial to get a story. And I ended up getting all 5 stories from this event, and I think they all ended up being their own videos. Because I did one for Tetsuya, I did one for Intisar, I did one for Eve, I did one for Brewster, and I did one for Lapis. So all 5 of them were done. And yeah. Yep, and the boss was here he is. This was the boss fight. It was the doesn't have its name. Oh, and there's the story. Actually, does it say like right here? Hold on. Uh Void Messenger. I was close, but I was way off because I didn't think Void. I thought like things related to wind, but nope, it was the Void Messenger. And he was a lot more like stronger in this one since it was more of a score-based one than a try to defeat the boss in like a limited number of turns. Yep, and then there's that. Then we have then Tropical Mirage, which is the Abyssal Trials and Memory Rift. Yep, and there's the last ever Esper, or like new Esper to be summoned from this sort of formation, which was Tetsuya. Whereas nowadays, it's always a Meta Esper that appears in that section. Like, yeah. The majority of the Espers that are summoned these days is through the gold summoning pool. And then we have the Game Pass, and then Championship. Yep. And there was that one. So now we're going to just quickly minimize that. Alright. Here we go. Okay, so here we have Ryota now. So here's the thing. I've seen a lot of characters that have like different designs related to foxes. Not just in Dislyte, but several other games I've been playing for like past like probably couple like probably this year entirely. And I can tell straight away that Ryota, or like any sort of fox character, most of the time is going to look a little bit suspicious. Like they're going to be like this kind character that's like, I will help you, sort of thing. But then they end up being a trickster, sort of thing. Probably because it's like they're mostly based on QB, the trickster fox in what was QB's mythology? I need to look that up. We'll do that now. Quickly hide that. Um, And I spelt it wrong. Okay. Oh! Okay, that's not it. Hang on. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay. Uh, let's see. Uh, ah. Okay, so yeah, it is Japanese mythology. So, okay then. Anyway, so yeah, never mind. So yeah. Um, as for opinion, not really sure, but anyway. Oh yeah, was his Esper powers like a god of or like a fine like hang on, a god or goddess of finance in Japanese mythology? That's what I should have looked up, but nope. I instead tried to look up QB, which there wasn't much I could find because I was not paying attention and didn't know, so I was wrong. Anyway, then we have the Golden Sea Challenge. Oh yeah, it was the take a guess on what which result will win. Then we have the Summer Dreams. As Your Retreat, which was the second half of the story. And then the Tropical Mirage, which is the same thing. Yep, and that's the Summer Bash. Okay. So, I think we'll be doing one more of these, and then we'll take a break. Or just an intermission break, just to talk, if anyone's interested. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring this up. So, okay. So, here we have Terrell, which is YouTube, and I will be completely honest, I wasn't 100% sure of how her gimmicks worked, but after using her for a little bit, I then realized, okay, this is a very strange, gimmick sort of thing. Plus, another thing related to her, I did a poll for the top, or not the top three, but three, the current three, Umbra Espers that were in Dislyte at the time. One of them, the other one was Sieg, and the next one that's in Phantom Feast Part 2, Terrell took second place out of that poll. Actually, I could probably check the poll when we do the last one, but yeah. Uh, apart from that, I will say I didn't even realize that her design actually was like a similar to a spider because as you can see behind her, she has four arms, and I didn't even notice that until this bit or using her ultimate sort of thing. So, yeah. Yep. And then we have the Dark Pilgrimage, which is the way you get the summoning disc for the Umbra Esper or the summon. No. Yeah, it's crap. It's this. Basically, you get free sign in. So every day you sign in, you get the Umbra themed summoning discs, which give you a chance to summon Terrell. or a mountain of garbage, because it's mostly epics and rare espers in there, and divinates. Yeah, then we have the championship, and then Sandy Whispers was the this one, which I don't think I did much investment in that one, or I don't know. So yeah, this one, yeah. So this was the one that I wasn't 100% sure of how I was going to fare with Yamato no Orochi, because the gimmick with Attacker's Bane is that Yamato no Orochi will one-shot your team, but the drawback is he takes damage as well. So that one was a little bit weird for me on how to do, but after I think it was like 2 attempts, I was successful in getting Attacker's Bane completed, and felt relieved that the hardest challenge ended up being the easiest one in the end. So yeah. Anyway. Yep, and there we go. Okay. So, we only have two more version previews to go, and after that, uh, probably be cake time. Because for those who don't know, as I said a few times, I buy a cake just to cut on stream, which also becomes the next video as well. So people don't have to watch the entire length of a live stream just to see me cut a cake. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna do this intermission phase because this is the last 4 videos. We'll just do a 3-minute intermission phase, and yeah. So if anyone has to say something, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just be fiddling around my phone. Alright. This is it. The final stretch of version previews. And the reason I say that is there aren't many more after these two. Or at least these, yeah, the two current ones we're about to do. But they're full videos, so we'll just see how this goes. Anyway, the first one is part... Whoops. I suppose we're gonna have one of those at the end of the video. Hey! Anyway. Now, starting things off, we have Ollie with the Meta Osiris. And people were, like, assuming that Ollie was going to get one at some point. Even I believe that Ollie would get one as well. But it didn't happen for, like, a few months afterwards, and now Ollie has one. And it's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, then we have Lost Sands Part 2, which finished up the entire story of Lost Sands, which, I will say this, I may also put them all into one video at some point, which could be after the next version preview, since we have a story going on at the moment, but who knows, we'll figure it out. And then we have the Scroll of Life 2, which I will say this, when this came around, I was actually on holiday when this was introduced to the public. So while I was away on holiday, I was mostly fiddling around with my phone as well, but in the end, yeah, it's still an interesting one, but anyway. Yeah, then we have the Sharp T. And then the way to summon Ollie. I don't know why I'm picking my eye, but or the eyelid, but anyway. Yeah, then we have Balance of Fate, which is the Game Pass. And then Technology Lab. Yep, and there's the Lost Sands Part 1. So now, we have Lost Sands Part 2. It loaded up easily. Now, I don't remember who was introduced into Part 2, but we'll see. Oh yeah, it was Yorana. I thought she was introduced later on, but nope, she was the Esper that was introduced in this version. I just couldn't remember exactly, so yeah. Yeah. There we go, and yeah. Victor, who is Aton, and once again, I'm going to say this, and this is for real. I still haven't seen, like, used Aton yet, or Victor yet, because remember, he's a Shimmer Esper, and they introduced a lot more Shimmer Espers later on, where I was more along the lines of, okay, let's go with this Esper instead of this Esper. It's similar to Teaver. Like I said, I think I said it earlier in the live stream, where Teaver was one of the options I really wanted to get my hands on at some point, but then we had a lot more Shimmer Espers added to the game with better gimmicks and abilities and passives and, like, ultimates, and I'm more along the lines of grab this and then go for this later. One of these days we will get Teaver and I will stop complaining, but anyway. Yep, then we have the Scroll of Life, which introduced the Librarian, which is a weird boss fight. Well, weird as in it's appeared in the story before, but it's still got very weird gimmick. And then we have the championship. Yep, and here we go. So, next up we have here we go. Alright. Uh-oh. Please do not tell me that uh oh no. Are you There's no The only option is auto-translated English. What? Well, I suppose we're gonna do this. We're gonna just do auto-translated English for the last two versions. Well, I'm hoping it's just this version, but anyway. Alright. Here we have, Alexa, which is the Meta Aphrodite, which... Yes, I'm still speechless on the why Alexa actually got a meta variation, but still, at least it was another meta Esper in the end. Yeah, and then Phantom Feast. Yep, and then we had the Candy House. Oh yeah, that's right. This was set around the Halloween event as well. Yep. Oh, now it's starting to turn that off because it's starting to play the lyrics of the song that's playing in the background. Alright. Then we have Candy Clash, which is the boss fight against Mavis. Then the Halloween sign-in. Yep. And then Love God's Crown, which is how you summon her. And the Game Pass. Okay. And with that, this is it. This will be the final version preview that Dislyte has done, and this was part 2. So, after this version preview, we will be cutting cake and figuring out what to do for next year, because it might just be more another summoning video that I did similar to last year, but yeah. So, this will be it, the last version preview. So let's see how this goes. As this introduces Niles, which... Oh, it's Nidhogg. Somehow I thought Nidhogg wasn't in the game, but I will say this. Not only was Nidhogg... not Nidhogg. Not only was Niles one of the coolest looking designs in this game, he was actually the favorite out of the poll I did. So, for those who don't know, well, I said this earlier, but I did a poll that featured Sieg, U2, and Niles. Niles took the top spot because I think I know why, because his design is cool, he's a dragon, and I see a pigeon on top of a fence. Oh. Huh. Okay. Pigeon. Yeah, I just saw a pigeon land on the fence. So yeah. Basically, he's a cool design, and dragon characters are always the coolest looking. So that's probably why he was number 1 in that poll. Second place in that poll was U2. And was mostly gimmick-wise and whatnot. Sieg took this to 3rd place, which surprised me, because I thought Sieg was going to be, like, 2nd place at least. But no, it ended up being 3rd. But yeah, anyway, and yeah, in the end, Niles was the one who took the crown, and I'll discuss more when we have 2 more Umbra Espers which I really hope there isn't one for this like next week. If it appears after the event, I will happily say yes to it, but otherwise, anyway. Oh, hang on. This is the same situation with Nope, it had the English translation, so we just had to turn it off for the one. All right, so yeah, okay. Yep, and there's Dark Pilgrimage, and then the Championship. Yep, and here it is. Myramon Lab. Now, here's the thing about the Myramon Lab videos. I only do these under one condition. If it's a Saturday, well, actually, there's a few conditions. One is it's a Saturday. Two, if I worked that day. And three, if I don't have any energy, then this is the sort of video I will do. So for those who don't know what the Myramon Lab is, it's a bit of a weird mode. It's where it's sort of like relics sort of thing in games. You battle Myramon, you collect their data, and you can use them on your espers, sort of thing. So yeah, that's what this one was. And to be honest, I'm surprised they didn't add any more easy difficulties. Not easy difficulties, like more relics that you can mess around and play with strategies. I thought they would have added more by now, but the last time I took a look at it, which was when I was recording these, there were like at least like what was there, and they could have added more. They could have not. I don't know, because I haven't touched that mode in a very long time because I lost interest because, well, I was mostly doing repetitive things. I just sort of, there's the pigeon just on the gravel anyway. Yeah. So, yep. Sonic Device. It was Ahmed. So yeah, this introduced Sonic Devices, but Ahmed was the Esper. I forgot his name earlier, but uh, yep, and the Nocturne Echoes, which is the only way you could summon Niles. And there we go. There we go. That's
We can go ahead and take this off. And that's it. There was the last ever Dislyte version preview. Now, to be honest, I am a little bit sad that there is no more version previews. But I could probably guess why, because it's mostly just showing off like one or maybe two espers, and then mostly like repetitive gimmicks. But in the end, it's okay. So, what does this mean for these reaction live streams? Well, this was the last one of these I'm going to be doing, and there might be a future where I could do more like reaction live streams. Not to Dislyte, but to like other videos entirely that I've done over the years. I could do something like that in the future, but I think for now is a pretty good ending point with this one. So for the finale, let us go ahead and first of all, I should have grabbed something to put a cake on top of. Let's go ahead and move this and this. I will be back. and grabbed it. Toss the chair over here. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, so it turns out my rubbish bucket, the thing I'm using to collect rubbish in, how did this get in here? There. No. Got it. Okay. Now, let's start this. So, okay, I think I got it in position. Like so. Alright. That's in place. Now, here's the thing about the cake I have chosen for this year. I actually used this one last year. I believe I used it last year. Because it turns out I had 3 options. Well, 4 options. This one, the lemon one, a carrot cake that I cannot eat, and another cake that I could also not eat because they had... Well, the carrot cake had walnuts in it, but the other one had, I think it was hazelnut in it. So, and yes, for those who have never known this, I am allergic to nuts. So, walnuts, peanuts, cashews, hazelnuts, you name it, there's a chance I'm allergic to it. The only exception is coconuts, because they're not really classified as a nut, in that they're... I don't know what they're classified as. Someone let me know. It's probably classified as a fruit. Wait, are they a fruit? I don't know. Anyway, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and chosen the other cake, which was the Biscoff one. Now, there were some other options I could have done, but since I worked that day, I missed out on those. So they sold out. And thankfully, one of them I didn't have an interest in grabbing because it was a Mother's Day themed one, which also, I should probably say this, but yeah. I don't know what I was about to say anyway. So, let's see how I can get this off. I grabbed a bowl this time. Yep, here we go. Okay. So, here we go. Here for now, and with that, it is. I should have grabbed a spoon, but oh, off my meat. But anyway, so as per usual, happy 4-year anniversary of Dislyte, and will the game keep going? I don't know, but cheers, everyone. Oh. I just got some icing on my nose. That was a crumb. Yeah. Well, in the end, I still like the Biscoff one. So, anyways, so that's going to be it for this reaction live stream. Now, this will probably also be the last live stream that I do for a while as well, so thank you guys for watching, and regardless, if you enjoyed this montage of videos that I was supposed to do last year, but due to scheduling issues, I wasn't able to do it last year, but thankfully I was able to do it this year. So, if you guys enjoyed, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new or coming back on the regular. And if you've already subscribed to the channel, do click the bell icon to be notified of future videos of Dislyte, as well as any other videos I do. And as well, leave a comment down below because this will also become a video as well. And yeah, as always, I'll see you all in another video whenever that happens. So, goodbye for now. I'll talk to you all later.